All right, good morning, everyone. Will these sessions this week go up on YouTube like yesterday's?
In auto news,
Java,
the Ford third
I
quarter truck and
believe
van sales up
the
8.8%, with US light
presentations
vehicle sales down 5.1%.
that are
Nasdaq is
scheduled
estimated at
today and throughout the week will be um, carried on YouTube. I'm not sure whether this morning's opening range is on YouTube. You may want to check that YouTube channel. If it's being broadcast, then uh, you have your answer. I don't know. I didn't check this morning. Okay, it is being broadcast. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. Okay, I got a question yesterday via email whether or not our indicators work for the NinjaTrader platform, and the answer is yes. Both Ninja 7 and Ninja 8. Okay, as you can see here, I run simultaneous uh, strategies, okay, for both right now. So again, Sierra chart on the right-hand side. The Sierra chart is the official recording for the spreadsheet for the tracking, model tracking, okay. Um, NinjaTrader here, all right, is again, it is duplicative of Sierra, all right, but again, this is not the official. The official one is Sierra, okay. But yes, everything that we have coded up for Sierra charts that you see is available here on NinjaTrader. Okay, so we'll just leave those two up for a few minutes, all right, to give everybody a chance to take a look at that. Next target here we have is at the 35s or so, looks like. All right, so again, there's some today's opening range, all right, is working out pretty well. We're risk-free on that initial two lot. Again, it was a relatively narrow range this morning, and as such, it position sized to 4 contracts. Okay, so again, the auto trade algorithm here that we have, right? You have the ability to place specific dollar risk or percentage risk of your trading account per trade sequence, and it will auto position size accordingly. So if it's a wider range, naturally we'll have smaller contract size, but it's not so much the contract size per se, although we'd like to have at least 2 contracts so we can, get risk-free and then work on a potential runner. But it's more important and again, this applies to any trade setup that you have. You must keep your risk uniform. Okay, you can't be all over the map. I risk 200 here, 300 there, 500 there, $150 here, etc. You will not, well, number one, not have consistent results. All right, but the key is you want to keep your risk uniform. It does not matter how many contracts truly is traded. Everybody is, a lot of times, I want to trade 2 contracts. Okay, great. But if that 2 contract requires you to have greater risk than you feel comfortable with on your plan, then you can't trade 2 contracts. You got to trade 1, obviously the minimum, or you go down to the micros. Okay, so again, critically important to keep your risk uniform and under control, and then that way, and your 1 hour one risk unit is referred to as 1 R value. Okay, 1 R meaning risk. So 1 R value, 1 risk unit value, and whatever that dollar or percentage dollar amount, keep that uniform. Okay, and then that way you can track, if you have a loss, those are 1 R losses. All right. I view them as 1R losses. I don't view them as a specific dollar amount, even though we're familiar with that, what the dollar risk is. But you got to refer to it as I lost 1R, okay, or I made 2R, or I made 3R, okay, 3 times my risk, etc. So refer to everything with R values. Okay, that's why, if you understand why the casinos use chips rather than, you putting money down for a bet, you'll understand why. They don't want you thinking about the money, do they? All right, not in the least. So again, it's important to, keep things in mind, keep things in perspective, and again, I'm risking 1R. And that 1R value should be already predetermined prior to trading. All right, so you're comfortable with, okay, so I'm risking 1R, whatever that 1R is. Don't think of the money, because if you do, again, it's going to hinder you, all right, from making decisions, proper decisions. All right, you want to trade the market's action, not your dollar value of risk. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to move this away. I just wanted to let everybody know that, show everybody we have Ninja Trader 8 and 7 and 8, but everybody's gone over to 8. All right, today is the cycle day 2. And what I mentioned, for those who were around late yesterday into the close, what I mentioned, I kind of somewhat previewed this morning's or today's action, or at least the early morning action, in that, given the fact that yesterday being a cycle day 1 and it fulfilled the cycle day 1 range targets, okay, and having closed at or near to the low of the session, then the next session, i.e. today, expectation is for a further decline. Again, this is an expectation, not a prediction. For a further decline, okay, on cycle day 2, okay? And yes, if you think of it as money, it's going to mess with your head. Absolutely. All right, so that's the idea. We don't want to think of it as the money factor. So coming into cycle day 2, we're expecting a decline. Okay, we have a spreadsheet, all right, that gives us some values, but again, you can see here there's a green block here, right, outlined, right. Let's see, wrong. You can see this little green block outlined in here. Okay, this is a statistical, let's just call it a statistical target zone for cycle day 2. So if the price violates the prior low, again, which we anticipated that it more likely would coming into cycle day 2, given the way yesterday cycle day 1 closed and the momentum, the question then becomes, what would be the expectation? What would be the targets? Okay, the lower targets. So these are already available to us via the spreadsheet that we receive for those that have the subscription to the 3-day cycle, okay, in advance. All right, so everybody has access to this. Let me show you the 3-day cycle spreadsheet that we have. 1 second. Oop. Do I have this open already? Taylor futures. Here we go. Okay, so here's the spreadsheet, all right, that we use on a daily basis. That's provided for us by Rich out in Europe, and we get it about 5 o'clock, 5:30, in advance of the Globex opening at 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so what this essentially gives us, it gives us all the range target expectations for the following day. All right, so this is for Wednesday today, October 2nd. This was, we subscribers received this about 5 o'clock yesterday. So everybody's then prepared for today, particularly if you trade in, the Asia session or the Europe session. Okay, if you're in that type of time zone or you're awake at that time and you want to trade that, okay. Again, the idea is what we're looking for is what are the lower expectations. In this case, we're expecting lower today, all right, at least on the opening portion of the session, and what would be some potential targets. So this sheet provides us all that relevant information, all right, and it also paints on our charts. Okay, so that's something that we use every day. There is a section on the website called the PTG 3-day cycle. Okay, if you're visiting on the website, okay, right here, if you go into the trading tab, and then all the way down below it says PTG 3-day cycle. Click on that. It will give you all the information, a bit of a summary of what the 3-day cycle is, as well as some videos, some educational videos that you want to watch and get more information about. Okay, and of course there's a link there if you decide you want to subscribe to it. There's a link there if you'd like. All right, but again, no pressure. Just want to show you what we do, and again, leave it up to you how you want to handle your education. So today, having reached the initial lower, what we call violation targets. Okay, again, the bulls are really going to need to, put in some sort of a defense. All right, to squelch any further, selling. What do the bulls need to do? All right, they need to get back above this value high now. All right, so you get the value low, value high zone, the developing value low, value high. So what do the bulls need to do? They need to get back above that. All right, so roughly what did I say, the 30s or so, 30, 31s, right in there. That's what they need to do. What do the bears need to do? Naturally, they want to keep it below that, right? So if that's tested at some point today, that should be some sort of a key, level for the market to test. Okay. Obviously, there's probably some shorts overnight. All right. Longs from yesterday are still on the hook. So we'll see how the RTH session plays out for us today. Again, I have our line in the sand basically right here at the 2920s. It's roughly 2920, 25 zone, 20 to 25 zone. So if bulls can hold bid above that, all right, their goal is to get back at least to the 30s and then try to convert that. Does everybody understand so far? Bears on the opposite side want to keep it, certainly below 30s, but they'd like to push it below 20s and then push for a break of the low, in which case there's some lower target zones that we outline in the daily trade strategy. Okay, that's how we begin the day, and we'll leave it at that as for the morning briefing. All right, we'll go over to the NQ here. NQ is going to have an opening gap lower, and we'll see how Mr. NQ treats us today on the opening range. Did I lose my 5-minute opening range? On ES, I might have lost my 5-minute opening range. 60-minute. Yeah, I might have lost my 5-minute opening range. That's strange. All right, I'll have to deal with that later. All right. All right, so again, we're short of crude oil here, open on that position, risk-free on it. And let's see what Mr. NQ does for us today. Yeah, it is Wednesday, right? So we have inventory numbers. I didn't see what the API numbers were last night for the read through today, so I'm not sure. But we'll play it as such. Again, gap opening to the down, and let's see what Mr. NQ does for us today. All right, so again, we wait for our first 3 minutes. Looks like we're going to have a fairly wide opening. For those of you that play in the crude oil, by the way, all right, if you're not in on the opening range short, there is a premium here, okay, that was valid. All right, so that's an alternate trade setup to get yourself in alignment with the opening. Okay, so just keep in mind. All right,
Order submitted.
All right, let's see what we got. Looks like we'll be doing just a single contract.
Order canceled.
And that triggers at 76.31. All right, again, short of NQ, 76.31 on the opening. Still working on the short on the crude oil. And we got crude oil inventory numbers at 10:30. All right, so that's the skinny at the moment. It looks like I lost the opening range for the S&P here. I don't see it on the tab. I'll have to correct that today for tomorrow. So in the meantime, you can just use the 5-minute chart here. All right, again on the NQ here, we're going risk-free. All right, as price crossed the 150 threshold. All right, so we're going to have a positive opening range today between the two. Since our risk is covered. All right, everybody following along okay? Guests, members? All right, coming up on our next target on crude oil. Okay, thank you, Java. Again, we'll just show you the same.
Order filled.
There we go. Filled on crude oil. Target 2, 53.35. Filled. Okay, now stop is moved. Okay, stop is moved to target 1. Yep. All right, so stop, trail, moved to target 1, all right, what we call for a lock. Okay, so again, stop, move to target 1 for a lock. We have, now we can play, the inventory numbers, right? Or, wait for the, get the lower targets or play around with the last contract, right? If you think the market's going to, move lower, again, there's a lot of room now, all right? There's a lot of room now to play, all right? So however you want to.
Order filled.
Okay, NQ, we took the gain here, all right? We took the winner, all right? Because we only had a single contract anyway, so we'll just take that one and done there. At NQ, all right, target filled. What is it? 76.12 spot 75. Okay, so that's filled. That's done. Again, we only had a single on that, so we weren't really able to do much aside from just bring your stop and then crepe it down. That would have been an option there. All right, I'm going to take a snapshot of this. Let's see. All right. So we have that NQ OPR. All right, so that's done. And let's see. Here's that same trade on the NQ. Okay, I have some additional contracts on the NQ here. All right, on Ninja, so risk-free stop, and again trailing stop there comes to entry. Okay. All right, so that, and then here's the opening for crude. All right, again, we do have inventory numbers, but the target's right down at the last pivot here, so I'm going to leave my trade order stand at that lower pivot, and that will, this, regardless of what the inventory numbers are, this will be a strong opening range for us. And again, keep one thing in mind while I'm speaking about this in the opening. Those that have been with us through the month of September, right? This is exactly how it happens. We've gone through, we've gotten double stopped out, a few times recently in crude oil because the ranges have been so, narrow on the opening. That said, all right, and this is where most traders will just, fold. They'll say, screw it, this isn't working. I'm not playing the opening range anymore or whatever, all right, because they had a few down days. And lo and behold, what happens? The market expands back out again, and we have a solid positive opening range. Yet, if you folded, what happened? You're not in it for this one, are you? Okay, again, lo and behold, this is what happens. So if you're going to trade any strategy, any discipline, all right, you have to continue on with it, all right, as, again, without waver. And that, honestly, everyone, all right, it's I don't say that lightly, by the way. Okay, I know it's difficult. I know it's challenging. I know it's frustrating, right? But that's what you have to do. If you want to be a professional trader, and emulate professional traders, right? This is what professional traders do. Okay. And again, it's a challenge. I say this, I don't say this lightly, okay? But it is definitely a challenge. All right, I'm going to move my stop down over here. All right. All right, so what we're gunning for here on the crude oil is the last target here. We have a trailing stop at our first exit point. If we come down and get close to the next target, I will bring the stop down to the second exit point. Right now, I'll give it a little room. And by the way, this is always an issue with traders, right? Again, once we're risk-free, and in this case, we've gotten two targets. All right, and this is my last runner. All right. Again, you have to be able to say, well, I'm willing to give back this unrealized gain. Okay. I'm willing to give back this unrealized gain. And again, if you want more, there's always a counter risk, right? So if I want more potential gain, well, what am I willing to give up for that, potential gain? Right? Am I satisfied that if price rallies back up and stops me out, okay, am I accepting of that? In this case, on the Ninja platform, I have two contracts, so I can easily buy another one and then let the single run if I want to. Again, this all becomes active trader decisions, but these type of decisions should be pre-planned in advance. You should not be trying to toil over whether or not you should or you shouldn't. Okay. On the fly. You need to know for yourself, you need to know exactly how you're going to handle it. All right. And if you don't, again, you're going to be making emotional, in most cases, irrational decisions. All right, because you're thinking of the money. Thinking about the trade, what's happening in the trade, what's the action, where's the pivot, where can I take profit, where would this action invalidate? Okay, those are the things you need to be thinking about. That's what pros think about. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, I'll just move this back over, get that out of the way. So far, the exit on the NQ looks acceptable for the time being anyways. I am on the Ninja platform. I'm still short one, so I can let that play. I'm risk-free on that. All right, and that's where we stand at the moment. All right. Is cycle day 2 a down day that reverses? It could reverse. There is potential for a reversal. Java. It's again, it's, you know, in this case today, it's more of a continuation of the weakness. All right, so the market's going to, you know, need to, you know, so let me put up some of the cycle targets here. So our targets here this morning to the downside, our initial targets, a 29.05 to I believe 29.10, right? Daily trade strategy. So we're in that zone right now at the 08s. Well, I think I said 08s to 05s or somewhere around that area. So we're nearing the some of the, you know, we're in that initial target zone. All right, if price held below the 20s. All right, and so if it held offer, right, below the 20s, which it did. So we're in that zone. In terms of a reversal, the potential for a reversal, all right, we don't just I'm not just going to say it's going to reverse, so I'm going to just buy it long here because it hit a level. What we want to see, right, if a reversal is to take place, now not to say that it can't bounce, but true reversals take time, right, to filter, to develop, to flush out the sellers. Okay, a true reversal, a valid reversal, takes time. So prices can snap back and bounce, but that's not a reversal. And people kind of confuse the two in many cases, right? All right, we're getting a bounce off of this. I should have bought them. In essence, what they're doing is they're trying to pick a low, right? Because price has reached a particular level. Yes, price has reached that level. There is an expectation of some sort of a reaction. Okay, so the 08s, there's an expectation for a reaction, and that is a valid assumption, though if the market reacts from a level, that doesn't mean it's a reversal. All right, true reversals, all right, have the component that, you know, kind of the structure of reversals, you know, barring news, but the structure of a reversal is, in this case, the sellers have to be flushed out totally for the market to be able to reverse properly. All right, so there is that potential out there, but in the meantime, I'm not thinking of a reversal right now, simply because the market is not indicating in any way that the market is in any position to want to reverse. Does that make sense? Right now, there's still sellers, right? The buyers are not aggressive. So the market is still auctioning lower to try to find that final low. where it flushes out the sellers. Okay. And I'll just put this up. This is the NQ's opening. I'm still open on one there. We're officially closed on it via Sierra charts. So the official is 31 to 12 spot 75, right? So that's 18 and a quarter points. So that was about 73 ticks. So that's the official recorded open range, which will be on the spreadsheet. All right, in the meantime, I'll try to get that posted. All right, that's posted to the spreadsheet. Oh, the NQ. And crude oil was still open, so. Again, our next target on NQ is going to be 89.50. All right, so initial targets on the S&P down to 05, 04s are complete. All right, so now it's just further extension. And again, this looks very much like long liquidation. Okay, so again, there's just absolutely no buying. All right, again, no buying, no buying, no buying, right? No longs. Okay, only shorts. I'm going to move my stop down to, all right, so my trailing stop on the NQ, again on the Ninja, all right, is moved to target 1. All right, so everybody see how I'm managing
Hey, good
that?
morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Okay, letting the market do its thing, just managing it.
Hey, good morning, Michael D. Anyways, at 10 o'clock, let's see, Jeff Hirsch from the Stock Traders Almanac will be coming in, and I think he's going to have an interesting presentation based on
I'm
one, the
assuming we'll get the
historical
next
stats of
target. Everything's
October,
looking pretty
and
weak
two,
here.
how things have started out.
All right, on the Ninja platform.
The other part about this is, can the workshop hear me? Anybody in the workshop give me a yes, no? I think.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.